I think when you go to the house, you see, and your buyer go to the house, you guys feel like this is a nice house with a nice location and nice setup, right? Nice layout. But what is behind the walls? What is the electrical panel space and the wiring, heating system? You guys, because you guys are not trained for those things. That's why you need a home inspector who can help you. Who can help you to work as a team with you guys, and for your buyer, and the buyer feels confident about these things. When you have a home inspection done, buyer feels confident to buy the house. Unless otherwise, he's always like in a mess up situation that, oh, I don't know what is there behind this one. Why these are moisture contents are there? Why this black sign showing? Like it could be mold, it could be health hazard. So just to know all this stuff, you need a home inspector. And the home inspection also covers everything, like from the foundation to rooftop. We check the foundation, any structural defects, any minor, any major defects, right? Because those you have to pay more if you buy the house without the inspection. Then these are very like these surprises are very painful for everyone, for the realtors as well as for the buyer. And exterior, so we check the exterior, good exterior doors, windows, exterior siding. Is it a brick siding, vinyl siding? What type of siding in the house has? Right? And the roof, and what is the age of the roof? How how far it will go? Is there any leakage? Is there any previous or active leaks from the roof? Right? And what is inside the attic? Because no one goes inside the attic. This is the tradesman or the inspector goes to check the thing. Is there any uninvited guest? I mean to say any raccoon or someone else, any birds are sitting in the attic are ruining your insulation stuff and damaging the attic structure. So it is better to know all the facts before buying the house. And what is the electrical panel? How much amps it has? Electrical wiring? Is it safe for the house? Because some houses in 70s have aluminum wiring, and the aluminum wiring is very ductile in nature. That's why the government banned it. Due to ductile in nature, it has a very good fire hazard because it breaks up easily. When you just band it once or twice, it, or it goes off. It creates short circuit. So it's also a fire hazard concern. That's why they banned it. So now it's in use. And some insurance companies need home inspection or a certified electrical ESC inspection to get the insurance for that house. And some houses have knob and tube wiring. Some older houses, more than 60 years old or 80 years old, they have knob and tube wiring. That is also unsafe because knob and tube wiring don't have the grounding system in it. They have just the positive and negative, like no ground. So that's also a concern for the house, and we have to pay in 10 over 10K to fix these things. It depends on the house. And we check the garage from the ceiling. We check the garage and what is inside the garage. So it's the firewall because the garages are attached garages are very important to see the fire hazard because most of the fire starts from the garage, kitchen, and laundry dryers. I mean, to say. So these aspects are very very important to see before buying a house. And for the heating system, when we do the heating system, we check the furnace and any fireplace in the house. What the condition of the furnace? Is there any moisture damages, any water damages, any rust is creating? Because rust is very prone to produce carbon monoxide. When there is a rust inside the combustion inside the furnace or control panel, what is the condition of your the vent motor? What is the life remaining of the furnace? And is it good for the house? Is it compatible for the house? Uh, I mean to say the square footage of the house is compatible for this furnace to heat up properly. what is the BTU capacity of the furnace, and the distribution system, does it properly distributed inside the house from basement to upstairs? Is it the house is properly distributed, the heating as well as air conditioning system? So we check the air conditioning system too. What is the condition of the air condition? The remaining life of the air condition? Is there any deficiencies in working or it needs servicing? So it all covers in this one. And when we go to the plumbing system, so we check the kitchen, washroom plumbing, as well as the laundry plumbing. Is there any leak, any dripping, any active or passive leak, any prone to produce mold or moisture? Because mold needs moisture to feed. Moisture feeds them to grow up the mold, right? So if there is any active or previous mold, kind of mold, so do you need any indoor air quality testers for or any remedies to remove that mold? Sometimes the mold is in the attic, so do you need to have some remedies, mold remedies to clear all of these ones? So these are things are very important. Sometimes it leads to lawsuits, especially where the mold is, because people are more afraid of mold. And every mold is not dangerous or is not hazard, health hazard, right? But depends. Some people think that every mold, every black sign is a mold. No, it's not like that. Every black sign in washrooms or so, it's not a mold. Sometimes it's just a black fungus or so. You can clean it with yeah, not too bad. With soapy water or so. And sometimes this concerns also affects the windows. When you have the windows, these are not properly insulated. They can carry into condensation problems inside the windows, especially in winter and in summer too. When the outside temperature is pretty much different between the inside and outside, so it creates a condensation in the windows, which leads to the mold inside the windows too. So that also affects the age of the house, the indoor air quality, as well as the health hazard problem. So we also check all these stuff, and most of it we check all these windows and all stuff with infrared cameras. We check the air leak, any age of the building, age of the windows, how much it will go for, and do you need any window replacement or so. And approximately we give the cost too. That's a ballpark because we are not tradesmen or so. So we do just to help the buyer or to the realtor to negotiate with the seller if he wants to negotiate with these things. And the other thing is uh, the interiors. So we check the interiors, the interior doors, windows, floors, uh, the condition of the floors. Is any cracks developing on the floors due to some settlement, or or is there any walls are not properly done, or some walls are taken by the seller. Small. Sometimes the walls are load bearing walls, and they take it just to get a wider look of the house or to open just like as an open concept. Most of the nowadays most of people want open concept, so they remove the walls right without knowing the fact that it's load bearing or non-load bearing. So there are so many aspects that as a buyer to have as a buyer or as a realtor to know all these facts that what he's buying, because we are as a team to help the buyer what he's buying. So and the buyer also want to know that what is the is he buying, what is buying is worth or not. So most of the time home inspector helps you, and he takes all these fees. When you negotiate with the seller, he, he compensates his fee, because that's not too much. And in one inspection, you are getting electrical inspection, plumbing inspection, heating inspection. If you call one guy, if you give one certified guy, right, he will charge you $350 or $400 just to visit the house. And so if you convert to all these nine factors of the stuff like structure, if you call a structure engineer, he charges $500 to $600 just to visit the house. Electrical same. And If you just buy one person, it will be $3,000 to inspect a house. So inspector is helping you just charging a very convenient, very little fee, very reasonable fee. So if you guys have any questions, so we also do the uh, like what do you say? We educate the people too at the time of inspection, especially the buyer, to know the things that how to change the filters for the furnace filter. Most of the people even don't know what is a furnace filter is, how to change the filter, what is the time duration to change the filter, and what is humidifier, how it works, when to use the humidifier, when to stop the humidifier. So we are and what are the main setup for the water, what the electrical, and for the heater, for the gas setup. Because you have to know these things. It is better to know all the stuff. So it is very important to have a home inspection done, and more important, the inspector should be well educated and experienced too. Right? Most of the people they just negotiate for the 50 bucks, and the some reason some key people they are not fully educated, not registered with any companies, and they don't have any registration, any professional degrees or so. They do the home inspection, and they I don't think they do the formalities. And sometimes the buyer just needs the formalities to do. It should not be done like that. The inspection should be thorough, and the bar should know that each and everything. Most of the times, not the major defects are always there, the minor defects. But if you fix that at the time, because you say a fix on time, it will save you nine. So it's better to fix those stuff. Like if you have the grading, if your house has not a proper grading, grading means the ground slope outside is not proper. It should be run away from the house. The surface water and rainwater should run away from the house. Sometimes it's a negative flow. The surface water and the rainwater it approaches to the foundation wall. So that to fix is not a it's like a couple of $100 just to put a dirt over it and that's it. But if you don't know these things, it could lead to further leakage in the basement, and your dry walls and your interior carpet will be moist, and then you give you bad smell and all that stuff. So it's better to know the fact that where the problem is, what is the reason for those things. So home inspector also help you in this manner, educate you, educate the person. So it's better to go with a good home inspector and educated person, right? Experienced one. And we do commercial building inspections too. Like if you want to, if your buyer want to buy any hotel, motel, plaza, right? Any doctor's office or any garage building, we do commercial building inspections too. Home inspections are not mandatory, but the commercial building inspections are mandatory. So most of the buildings need commercial building inspections. So we are very busy in this one because from in the past the collision was made for the home inspection as well as for the financial too. And the buyer was very much in stuck to buy the houses. So if you need any services, so in case you have a number like it's 416-500-1535. I'm repeating, 416-500-1535, and we have a website technoinspectionservices.com or .ca. You can go on both. And if you guys have any questions, so you're welcome to ask this question.
I have a question from Mr. Sidhu, if you don't mind, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
Mr. Sidhu, first of all, I welcome you to our team to just give us such a wonderful information there. So, my name is Walidullah Askarzada. So, I have a question about uh, when you see some damages at the house. So, can you estimate that how much it's gonna cost, or just there's different person has to come and check it out how much it's gonna cost, or uh, depend on transaction, how that goes, how that works then.
Most of the times we give just a like ballpark estimate, uh, because the buyer wants to know that, and sometimes the realtor doesn't know the things that what is the concern and how it affects that. Sometimes it's easy to fix those things. Sometimes you have to call any tradesman, or sometimes you have to call the electrician. Like the GFI outlet in kitchen or bathroom, it is a missing. It's mandatory to protect yourself, right? To be get electrocuted. So the outlets which are close to the water, like the sink or wash basin, that needs to be protected with GFI outlet. So sometimes you have to call the electrician, and that costs you like $200, $300. Not a big deal. So sometimes the buyer thinks that, oh, it's such a big deal. We have to call an electrician and he will charge us $1,000 or so. And I've seen most of the time if the electrical panel is old and the glasses use panel, and we recommend them to change it to the circuit breaker panel. And if it needs to be done, then it costs like you $1,500, $2,000. But sometimes it's the impression on the buyer that it cost me $5,000. So to just to compensate those things, or to be clear about those things, to be given ballpark estimate.
Thank you so much, Mr. Situ. That's such a
You
wonderful
are,
information you have given to us.
you are. Like foundations and cracks, some of the cracks are minor and due to shrinkage of the cement, right? If we discuss about these things. So nowadays, it's a polyurethane injection molding is there. So the guy came, most of the times the guy come and inject it with the injection molding, and it costs you like 400, $500. That's it. No need to dug outside, nothing. So they just widen the crack and insert the compound, and the compound goes to the exterior extent of the wall. And they most of the time they give you warranty of like 25 or 30 years, and that crack doesn't leak from that. So nowadays the technology is very helping and easy to fix, as well as very reasonable thing. In the older days, we have to dig from outside and have a foundation wrap and this and that, all mess up. And but now it's easier to fix all this stuff. And Windows too, if you have in the condensation in Windows, most of the times it occurs in the older houses. And the windows are now easy to change to the vinyl windows. The older days was when before 2000 they used wooden windows that was rotten up from the base most of the time, and they were prone to have heat losses. So nowadays, a double glazed insulated vinyl windows are there, so not too much costlier to replace those ones. So sometimes the buyer has an impact on the things that it will cost you 50,000 or $60,000, and that leads to deal breakers. The concept which is not clear to the buyer or not to the clear to the seller. Sometimes the seller is very adamant. Oh, no, 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 this is not like that. So we just clear all the things to the buyer as well as to the seller. It's something we always need to help because it's a teamwork. It's a teamwork to help both the people to sell and the buyer, and as well as for the realtors. So most of the time, uh, we give the ballpark estimate and how to fix those things. What is the easiest way to fix those things? We all mention in the report, as well as educate the buyer at the time of inspection. And if he has some questions at the time of inspection, because uh, most of the times the buyer has seen the houses couple of times or three times, and some doubts are in his mind that, oh, what is this what are the signs of this? The baseboard is has a very blacky signs on this one, discoloration on the baseboard, especially outside the washrooms or so, or in the basement. So sometimes they have some questions in mind. So at the time of inspection, you clear all the questions and the doubts, as well as education too about these things.
Mr. Sidhu, sometimes, in the report, it says that the foundation is cracked or something like that.
Okay.
When is it a major defect? And if it's a major defect, then shall we buy that house, or like the for the buyer, or shall we move on?
So if the package is a crack, if we should most of the time it's better to uh, elaborate the things, right? That what type of crack it is. It is. It's a shrinkage crack. It's a settlement crack. It's a structural crack, right? It's
Right.
like a hairline crack. So some cracks are prone to leak, right? So the chances of leakage are there with the crack. But some cracks are structural cracks. So that needs to be fixed immediately. In structural cracks, it could be a concern for the house because it's related to the structure of the house. And most of the time, it's a minor crack which comes with the shrinkage of the concrete because the temperature here minus 35 to plus 35. There is 70 degrees variation in the temperature, and the coefficient of contraction and expansion of cement and concrete and steel which we put inside the concrete is different. So all the materials are different coefficient of contraction and expansion. That creates the minor crack, the shrinkage crack, and the fine crack, the hairline crack. Most of the time, the buyer just thinks that it's very dangerous. It's not always the same. Definitely, if there is structural crack or structural, it affects the structure of the building, then definitely it needs to be considered.
Thank you very much. And one more question: when we show the houses to the buyer, when we go there, and what things we should see, preliminarily. I know the inspection has to be done afterwards, but like which are the things which gives us red flags? If you can tell us a little bit about that, what should we see? Like if we see the moisture in the basement, or if there is a smell, or something like that, or there is a we see on our ceiling that there are marks of the water damage or something like that. So what things we should see, starting from entry to the house, as well as going through the house, as and the on in the backyard as well. So what should be the red flags?
That's a good question. So most when you check the house, so when you see the ceiling, if they have a discoloration on the ceiling, so it could be leak from the washroom upstairs, or might be leak repaired. So check all these ones, the signs of discoloration of the walls, of the ceilings, or the baseboard, any any water signs on that one. So you can make a note of these things that this was there also, or in your mind to have about these ones. And if you find the fluctuation of light, some light fluctuate with incompatible amperage or voltages, and in case of some trips from the electrical panel during your visit, so it should be also considered. Or the grading from the outside of you, so it affects the leakage, seepage problem. And what else you can see the flow, water flow. So the time the water pressure is not good. So we check all the water pressure too in the washroom. If someone opens the washroom in the basement or at the main floor, so it should not be dropped at upstairs. So water pressure is also is a big concern because sometimes if you have a like dishwasher, someone is working with a dishwasher at that time and the hot water drops down up there. So it are also some concerns with the water pressure. And sometimes the sellers do some cheap renovations or repairs, and sometimes it is painted because as a layman is unable to see those things. I just inspected a house, and the guy he said I'm a builder, and he took all the kitchen sinks from the from the kitchen and replaced the sink with the new one, but he put the sink with the battens underneath. It the sink should be under mount to the to the counter, but it should be it is supposed to be. But he did he just put it on the wooden batten. So it should not be like this. So some cheap work, cheap renovations, some do electrical work. They do it by themselves. Those are more costlier things, and it leads to fire or something. Some do pot work in attic area for the bedrooms or so. And if those pot lights are not standard with CSA standards, right? Passed with CSA standards for the insulation, which is closed, right? And insulation burns very easily. That's also very good, very bad fire hazard. So it should also be considered these things. So when you see the new pot light in the house, yeah, it's a red flag. So especially upstairs. So there are two types of spotlight, which is to be used. One is for the where the insulation is missing. There's no insulation in the walls at the main floor, like, and where the insulation is in use for the upstairs. Right? If you see the installations upstairs in the lobby or in the master bedroom or the bedroom, so that definitely it needs to be considered as a red flag. And the water seepage, definitely water seepage smell, any smell in the house, uh, and that needs to be considered. And any renovation, recent paint, that's a red flag for us. We consider it a red flag and we check the things thoroughly because the seller could hide anything with the paint or so. Sometimes there is a mold. We just create just watch the mold and paint it recently. So until it's checked with infrared cameras or so, nobody can judge those things. Just within half an hour or with a couple of hours, we can't check those things. So it's better to check all this thoroughly with infrared cameras, master meters, and if you have any red flag in mind, so let the inspector know that this was the concern when I saw previously, and it's now painted, it's now fixed. Please check this concerned areas thoroughly that it's done, it's repaired properly, or professionally, or by the seller, just to patch up the things. So these things should be considered, should be keep in mind.
Thanks, Jaswinder. The next question is the Ontario Building Code and the other codes and standards, they keep on changing. And the code which was there 10 years ago is no more valid now. But few houses which are built 10 years from now, before, and they have got different uh, they were built with the different standards or the codes. So by which code you guys, like the inspectors, they check the house as per the new codes or as per the codes which were in place 10 years ago?
Very good question. Very good question. Most of the time, people confuse with this one. So first of all, some are building codes, some are bylaws. I'll just give an example. Like the smoke alarm, carbon monoxide detectors. 10 years ago, it was like that smoke alarm should be at each floor level and the carbon monoxide major sleeping area. But nowadays it's a bylaw. Bylaws are mandatory. It doesn't matter what is the age of the house. It's mandatory and has to be done. So nowadays it's the smoke as well as carbon monoxide alarm should be at each floor level. Each floor means each floor. If the house has the four levels, right? So it should be at four levels. Smoke and carbon monoxide. Nowadays, smoke and carbon monoxide comes in one. It's two in one. So you can install two in one and each floor level. So that's the bylaw. It's just a mandatory. So some building codes are there. Some building codes you can upgrade as per the modern day standards or modern day building codes. But you can force it. Like the insulation. Previously, 10 years ago, it was R32 insulation in the attic. 32 means just like 6 inches thick or 7 inches thick. But nowadays, The builder put because the houses are more insulated nowadays. They are making more insulated and energy saving. That's why the size and BTU capacity of the furnaces are they are reducing it down because the houses are more insulated and you guys need an HVAC system too. So previously it was R32 insulation, but now it is R50, about 18 inches thick, or R60. Some builders are using R60 as per the modern day building code. So building code is and it's not important to have the building code done. You can upgrade as per the modern day standards, but you can't compel the seller or compel the owner to to upgrade it as per the modern day building code. Bylaws are mandatory. He has to follow the bylaws because bylaws you can't avoid those like smoke alarms, GFIs. Sometimes the GFIs are near kitchen area or near washroom. GFIs are more important because safety concerns. And some houses have the basement railing missing. Most of the time, 80% of the houses have seen the railing on to the basement. Staircase is always missing because they take it out while putting the stuff inside, and after that they don't like the furniture and other stuff when they went to the basement, and after that they never put it back. That's a safety concern. It's yeah, definitely it's a building code, but as a safety concern, it's a matter of 100, 200 bucks and 300 bucks, but it should be there. If any child is going to the basement or your parents is going to the basement, the older person is going to the basement, if he has not any sport, any handrail, he could slip and fall. That will cost you more rather than just a couple of 100 bucks. So these things should be considered. Even if sometimes the buyer the seller is not cooperating with these things, it doesn't matter. These things I don't think it's a deal breaker. So for your safety, it's better to do those things at your own. If you like the house, if you like the location, if you like the layout and those stuff, so these things doesn't matter to you. But it's better to do it for yourself, 100%.
Right. Thank you very much. And another question is about the commercial buildings. In the commercial buildings, usually there are very few like the self-standing or the standalone buildings, but most of the buildings are in condos. And in condos, like the roof is the responsibility of condo, as well as sometimes the HVAC system is the responsibility of condo or the buyer or the individual unit owner, and the sprinklers are there. And what like you told very good about the residential, but in the commercial building, what should we see? Like, what are
So,
the red flags which we should see when visit the commercial building?
so the commercial buildings, if you're talking about the condo buildings, condo residential buildings is different. The commercial buildings is different.
Yeah, I'm talking about the commercial building. We'll come to the condo residential building after. So, uh, can you tell us about a little bit about the commercial uh, buildings?
Commercial buildings are completely different from residential buildings. Their structures, right? It's starting from the structure, electrical, they have more powerful electrical things, electrical wiring, as well as some have the transformers too, inside transformers, built-in transformers, and and they have the heating systems is completely different. They have rooftop units. Most of the buildings they have rooftop units, roof suspended units, electrical like hydronic heating. Some they have the hydronic heating. In the condo corporation buildings too, some of them have a hydronic heating system, wastewater heating system. So that is completely different from these things. When you go for the commercial buildings, it's hard to check those stuff, the red flags, because it's most of the time the inspectors point out those things. These are electrical are more important, and the heating system is more important for these buildings. Plumbing system most of the time they have a couple of washrooms, so not that important, but electrical and heating is very important. Roofing exterior, how old the building is, depends how old the building. So the exterior, the windows, somehow the aluminum windows or the metal windows. And so with conversation problems inside the glasses or those are a little bit different from residential buildings. And, and because it depends on the building and the square footage, it will cost you more to fix those things. Your heating units are costlier. But the house furnace is about $4,000, $5,000. But those start from $10,000. So something, if you predict it as a good or bad, and something goes wrong with those things, it will cost you. It will be a pain in the neck after when you buy these buildings. So that's why most of the insurance companies and the banks always leave the building inspection. That's called property condition assessment. When we do the commercial building inspection, that is called property condition assessment, which elaborates everything, like the structure, heating, right, electrical, plumbing. So, but when we do the home inspection, that is generally home inspection. Home inspection, like you say, home inspection report. And uh, for the condo buildings, yes, you are very right. So the exteriors and everything is the condo. They maintain it for the condo fees you are paying. But for the inside, it's a buyer's responsibility for the inside. For the like most of they have the heat pump in the condo buildings. They have heat pump which works as a supervised heat as well as heat air conditioning. They work reciprocally. They will provide you heat in winter and air conditioning in summer. So the age matters because those units the age of these units are 30 years most of the time. The typical life expectancy, like the furnace has 20 years, the roof has 20 years. This is life. It can go earlier too if you don't care of these things, like you don't change the filters, you don't care about the annual servicing of the furnace. If you don't see the sound, if you don't listen the noise of the furnace motor that it's making noise or so, yes, it's a red flag too. If you go to the house and see the furnace motor is making a very weird noise or weird sign, so you can just make it note in your mind. So yeah, this needs to be properly checked. Right? Because if even the vent motor you have to give it the vent motor, it costs you $1,000 if the vent motor is not working properly and done. So that is that's also a red flag.
Okay, let's switch gears and let's discuss about the little bit about septic tanks and the oil tanks. Because when we see the houses in Caledon or like the farmhouses, mostly, then there is a septic tank there, and there is an oil tank. There is an oil tank which was removed like a few years ago. And what should we see there?
Oh yes, for the countryside houses, most of the time, you will face like well water, oil tanks, and septic tanks. So not every inspector is supposed to do septic inspection until he's well qualified and well water. And most of the time, the inspector refuses to do those things. Uh, because the septic, you should know that what the age of the septic, what the capacity of the septic, is it compatible with the washroom inside the house, and how much people you are living in, they are living in the house, and does it need pumping, does it need cleaning, does it not need the replacement? Because if that is not working properly and the leaking bed is not proper, where all the water goes to that, then it will cost you $50,000, $60,000. More than that, it starts from there. If you need the replacement of those when it's not working properly, if the malfunctioning, right? If there becomes smell, when you see those houses, first of all, go in the basement and check the smell. If it smells like sewage, then definitely a concern with the septic system. And the well water, yes, most of the time because the municipality services are not there, so only the electricity they provide, the city provides, but the well, the water, and the septic is your own. Sometimes some of them have a propane tanks, oil tanks, as you said. Oil tanks, 100% you can't bury it nowadays. If it's buried, it should be taken out immediately. Because this it's related to contamination. It's environmental. So because the rust makes it uh, makes the seepage of the tank to the ground and hits the environmental concern. So the government is now taking action, and they are backing everyone to take the berry tank out. They could put the ground above the ground tank, the oil tank or propane tank. If they all the above the ground, it's okay. There's no concern with those things. But even then, what is the capacity of the tank? What is the gauge of the tank? What is what is the age of the tank, right? And is it good? Is it safe? Most of the time, is it safe to use or not for the occupant? It's the same thing with the oil tanks and propane tanks. So you have to keep in mind those things. Ask for from the owner that when he replaced the tank and what is the age of the tank, right? And do they have any old buried tanks in the property or in the vicinity of the property outside? And what was the age of the septic? Do they have any drawings with them? Did it? They have any legal papers for that one? Proper drawings for the septic place and you see that where the septic tank is. Most of the time it's buried, right? The people don't know what is the location of the tank, where it sits outside the house. And the difference of the septic tank and the well water also matters. It should not be too close, not too close. It should be far away from each other in opposite direction. So these things should be considered and keep in mind.
Right. Thank you very much. And another question is, sometimes like we see that in the glasses, like maybe the window glasses or in the door to the backyard, there is a moisture in between the glasses. So how serious is that?
Yeah, it means the window is done. The window glass is done. Because most of the times the windows are double glazed windows and it has a gas, invisible gas inside it, which works as insulator. Most of the times it's argon gas. They call it argon gas. So because only the glass cannot protect the house from outside temperature. If there is a here, the temperature goes -30, -40. Only the glass cannot save the house uh, from the weather conditions, outside the weather conditions. So it has a gas inside the glass, and when there is water inside the glass tank and condensation inside, it means that the gas escapes out, and it is just a glass. So no need to just replace the whole window, just to replace the glass. So it is very important now, and it's very easy. Like that, when you see the picture from the picture frame, just take out the just minor clips and put the new one. It's like the same thing.
Mhm.
The technology is so simple and easy nowadays. So the
Right.
guy, the window guy will come and just replace it, and the window is good to use. So no need to replace the whole entire window until it's a vinyl window. If it's a wooden window, and then you can like replace the window with a vinyl one. Otherwise, only the glass you can change.
And Mr. Sidhu, like in Brampton and elsewhere, because the housing prices are very high and people are making the basements illegally or without any permits, and they don't get even electrical inspected. How do you guys see that, and how do we figure that out, that whether everything has been done as per the code or not? uh, like it's like we see many houses and there are small rooms and there is no space to exit, like in the case of fire or anything, there are no fire alarms. So how can we deal with it?
Yes, most of the times the builders, the older houses have illegal basements, right? So illegal basement means you can't have two kitchens in a house. It's a single dwelling house. So most of it, just you see that when you fill your the information report, you see a single dwelling, right? Single dwelling means single family can live in the house with their single kitchen, right? You don't need two kitchens. When you have two kitchens, either in the basement or upstairs, it seems to be illegal. So you can't install uh, kitchen stove and exhaust fan over it, ratio. So if you have this one and the bedrooms are there and washrooms are there, it's no problem with those things. But if you have a kitchen there and it's not passed out by the city, you don't have any permit for those things. That's illegal. We have seen those things and electrical stuff too. You have to have ESA pass certification for legal basement. You can ask those things if the standard says it's a legal basement. You can ask for the ESA certificate. Not go for permit only. Permit. Sometimes this is the permit. Permit is a